we finally paid off all the trailer watching and saw Speak No Evil. You see my banner today is RIP to the Speak No Evil trailer. I saw somewhere. It's gotta. So I'm gonna start on this one. And I saw this movie with Todd, and as the trailers were starting, I turned to Todd and I said, "What are the odds that we see the Speak No Evil trailer today?" And he said that, yeah, Todd said 30%, which I think was about accurate. It was about accurate. Like there was still a shot that we saw the trailer while we were sitting in there watching Speak No Evil. So yeah, Speak No Evil. It is an American remake of a movie that came out, I think, in 2022, Danish movie, I believe. And this is written and directed by James Watkins. It stars James McAvoy, Mackensie Davis, Scoot McNairy, and Aisling Francisosi. That's what I'm going with. And it is about this couple played by Scoot McNairy and Mackensie Davis, who go on vacation. They meet this other couple that is kind of like fulfilling all the midlife crisis checkboxes. Like, this is who Scoot McNairy's character Ben wants to be. And they hang out with them for the rest of vacation. They say, "Hey, you should come visit us." And they do. And when they get there, they realize that these people aren't necessarily what they seem to be. And some shady stuff starts happening. And if you are like me and have seen the trailer 50 times, you kind of know where it's going, because it reveals most of the plot points in the trailer. With that said, it's still kind of a fun ride to go on. James McAvoy is out of control in this movie playing Patty. He is just like off the rails, amazing in a similar way. Like, I mean, he's not split personality like Split, but he shows his manic side like he does in Split. And the story does play out in a cool way. You follow the beats and you kind of are good as it's going along. My biggest issue with this movie is with the Scoot McNairy and Mackensie Davis characters. So Mackensie Davis, she plays Louise, and they have a daughter, Agnes. She is like my least favorite type of mom ever. Like, annoyingly like a helicopter mom. And it like drove me crazy to the point that I'm like, this is supposed to be the good guy. I don't want to root for the good guy, because the good guy is the worst. So that was my problem with that character. And then on the other side, Scoot McNairy is just bad. It's a horrible performance by Scoot McNairy in this movie. Like, almost derails the entire movie. And what's funny is I don't know if it's his performance or if it's how it's written, because they keep like referencing things and like talking about how he has this great temper, and then it will just cut to Scoot McNairy sitting there, and like, I'm not angry, and it's like, I can't see Scoot McNairy ever being angry. I'm sorry. It doesn't fit. It doesn't work. So whether they're just like really, really trying to pull a characterization out of an actor that just doesn't exist, or he gives a bad performance, I really don't know. But those two almost derailed the movie for me, which otherwise was a really cool movie. I'm giving it a very hesitant 3 stars, because James McAvoy is really the reason to see this movie. He's the one that's carrying the movie, and the plot is a lot of fun. Like, it is a pretty cool movie, and the payoff is pretty great at the end as well. Even if I hated Scoot McNairy's performance, or at least I just hated both their characters, whether it was the performance or the way they were written. I really hated the way Mackensie Davis's character was written. And yes, Todd, it's Mackensie Davis, not Daisy Edgar Jones.
Yeah.
So that's my review. I've given, like I said, 3 stars, but I'm really on the fence there. I didn't, yeah, but I'll go 3 stars. There's enough on the spacecraft that's good. So Todd, you were sitting right next to me. Did we watch the same movie?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Once I actually was confirmed that it was Mackensie Davis, when I saw her name right after Scoot McNairy, I was like, oh, it's a *Halt and Catch Fire* reunion, which was like, I didn't even think about that, because I kept thinking it was Daisy Edgar Jones every time I saw the trailer. But you are right about Scoot. He is absolutely miscast here. I don't think it's that bad of a role. He's just not good in it. It's like the most Ben Stiller role I've ever seen without Ben Stiller playing it. Like if you like if this would have been like Ben Stiller with Tom Hardy or something as the McAvoy role, this would have been like killer, but it's not. But I mean, McAvoy isn't that bad. Like he's good, but I mean, it's just predictable that he's going to eventually be the kind of character that is sort of evil and not what he seems to be. The movie overall is pretty skillfully made. I like James Watkins as a director. He did this movie Eden Lake, which I mentioned on my Pinot list a bunch in '08, which is another disturbing horror movie about a family that's on a vacation who gets terrorized by people for some seemingly no reason or whatever. But I don't understand why every movie like this now has to turn into Straw Dogs or Funny Games or whatever. It's like, I mean, it's like, yeah, it eventually becomes this like action horror movie where people can't escape the house. Like, I mean, I really like the psychological elements of this more than actually like the physical horror of it. And I think what part that I did like was that it was randomly really funny. And it's not like one-liners or anything. It's like other things like physical gags, like people, like actors trying to look like they know how to use a football. Like as if it's like the most foreign thing in the world to them. It was hilarious to me. I kept cracking up whenever one of them picked it up. Or like
they were tossing it like a rugby ball.
Yeah, it was. And it looked like a rugby ball because they all have such small hands. Or maybe it was a rugby ball. I don't know. Could have been. I don't know. Well, either way, and Patty also had parts where he was like super hungover and then trying to like teach his body to function when he realizes that something's amiss, but his brain isn't letting him do it. Like that was really funny, and because that was another side of McAvoy. But he's the electric performance, the reason to see the movie. I don't think much else necessarily works as well, and I mean, I don't know. Francisosi, or whatever, she has a presence, but I think she's sort of wasted. I was more interested in her character than what we got. I'm at 2.5 stars. I didn't quite get there, but I mean, we're not very far apart because you said reluctant 3 stars. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just like, 2.5 stars. I mean, I could see a big portion of people that would like this movie.
Zach.
Okay, so it's a remake of a movie that I don't think any of us have seen. Am I right about that? So you always have to go in a little bit with a grain of salt on it. And after watching this movie, I did want to go back and watch the original. If you look up the original and you look up the ending of the original apparently is very different than this movie. And reading about the ending in the original sounds a lot cooler than the ending in this movie. I mean, so I want to like maybe get on to Shudder and actually just watch the last 30 minutes of it, because to me, the last 30 minutes of this movie completely fall apart. It's kind of like what you guys are saying. It's like, okay, it's affable, but quaffable, but far from transcendent. I got a lot of Sideways references built up in me today because I got my COVID vaccine the other day, and so I was passed out just watching Sideways. Anyway, I couldn't even text Todd while I was watching it. That's how passed out I was. Quaffable, far from transcendent. So the thing that I like about the movie is James McAvoy, because he is pretty unpredictable. Although whenever I see him now in a movie and he gives that look, I just think Miss Patricia. All I can see now is Split. That's the only thing I see when I see James McAvoy. Maybe Terry has a similar problem. But for me, like, it's annoying that this movie keeps doing the thing where like, oh, he's going to do something crazy, but you know what? He's just joking, or, it's kind of like, we're just effing with you. Okay. It's not really like that. I got really tired of that after about the third time, which happens maybe about 30 minutes into the movie. So I'm already kind of past that. I think Terry's criticism is kind of amusing. I don't know. I kind of like Mackensie Davis. I mean, she's the voice of reason in the movie. I don't know why no one seems to be listening to her. Okay. And I have very strongly views about pescatarianism as well and environmental consciousness. So I kind of just wanted to listen to her rant the whole movie. I thought she was the most intelligent and enlightened character in the whole movie. All the rest of them were dumb assholes. But anyway, I don't know. These people seem to have a lot of money for two people that are out of work, apparently, in London. They're driving a nice Tesla. I think you kind of get the gist of where the movie's going. You're wishing, or at least I was wishing, that the movie could have been a little bit more surprising and unpredictable. A lot kind of hinges on this reveal that happens probably about at the 2/3 mark of the movie when the son, Ant, reveals something. And I thought that could have been more fertile territory for the filmmakers to do something actually really innovative, which is maybe, and again, I don't want to speak, I want to be cautious with what I'm saying because I don't want to spoil the movie, but maybe make some of what the kid is saying a little bit more unreliable. And maybe that makes for a more enriching movie. I don't know. It's like the directors couldn't put 2 and 2 together or something like that. They wanted to make something that, as Todd was saying, it's a lot more straightforward, a lot more straw dogs, funny games. And we've already seen a bunch of movies like that. And then, to cap it off, the last 30 minutes, I mean, just completely implausible. It's like the Mackensie Davis and Scoot McNairy, who's fine in the movie. I don't know. I think he's bland, but whatever. I think that's the character. They seem to know the architectural layout to this house amazingly well, and it's remarkable how they're able to throw a Molotov cocktail right where they want it to be and have all these things land exactly where they want it. And there's of course a part where someone fires a gun and it happens to be a mirror. I mean, come on, okay? I'm so tired of that shit.
They threw the Molotov cocktail to light the roof on fire.
Right, but it
rolled down the roof and landed on the car.
I know it landed at a place that was perfect for the screenplay. Okay,
this is your complaint with 3 Billboards too. You don't like Molotov cocktails. I don't like
Molotov
there you go. If you want Zach to hate a movie, put a Molotov cocktail in it.
Yes, that was a problem in that movie. It's a problem in this movie. It's a problem in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It's a problem everywhere. Okay, down with Molotov cocktails. All right. I'm at 2 stars for this movie. It's unmemorable. It could have done something cool. James McAvoy is an awesome actor. I think he's getting typecast though. I'd like to see a little more range for him. It is relieving that this movie we will not see the trailer anymore. And I do have to say, just reading about the ending of the original movie. Okay, maybe really I'm at 2.5 stars, but I know deep down that if I were to watch the original movie, this movie. The remake would be a 2-star movie. It would confirm all of my initial biases and assumptions. So maybe that's not a fair way to do it, but I'm there. I hated the last 30 minutes. Let's move on and celebrate a new trailer that we'll watch a million times. Maybe the Timothée Chalamet Bob Dylan. I'm getting tired of that trailer very soon and his obvious not singing.
The Folie à Deux trailer is the one that's replaced.
Yeah,
for me.
It's getting up there too. Yeah.
I like your point though that if we had seen the original, we probably wouldn't be quite as high on this movie. That's a decent point. I will say the one thing about the Molotov cocktail, I'll say though, deep down, didn't you want to try Patty's homemade 150 proof though?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so the thing is that this movie has better reviews than the original movie, so I don't know.
Yeah,
wow,
that's baffling. The movie's like 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Did people not see this movie? Like, I don't get it.
Even if Adam was here, he would make the point that the Swedish couple or whatever would be in the running for our douchebag award at the end of the year. Like, where were they?
I was just gonna say Torsten would be in the running for a Pinot.
Was that his name?
Torsten.
Was he the chef? Which one was Torsten?
Yeah. He was the one. He was the one that was talking about the chef classes.
If the movie was more interesting, the babysitter could have been a high roller minor character nominee, but he wasn't. All he could do was magic tricks, and we didn't even really get to see the magic tricks. I was interested, but the movie cut away to their dumb date at the fish restaurant. But I like Mackensie Davis. I liked her ranting about fish. I mean, Terry, don't you have a lot of thoughts about fish? The ethics, bioethics.
They're obviously today I have a lot of thoughts about fish.
They cook their prize goose.
Yeah. No. Louise was like, if you have to use a cartoon bunny on a breathing app to calm your 11-year-old down because she lost her emotional support animal or her emotional support stuffy, you've gone wrong at some point as a parent. Just gonna
we need to start the Terry Parent Corner segment of this podcast. Terry talking about the parenting, what he would do different, what he validates. I like it. And I like that's informing your criticism about the movie. The first thing you said was, I can't stand for this movie because I don't like the parenting that this character operates with.
It's true.
And
And
not even the crazy
and the way it
psychopath.
ends,
It's supposedly
and the
the
way
normal character.
yeah, and the way it ends,
parenting.
this is the problem. This is the problem. The way it ends completely validates every decision she had made throughout the movie about her parenting. That's the problem with it. And that's yeah. Hated it. Hated her. I hated her. She might be she's like potential most punchable face.
You know what, Terry? She's been through a lot because remember, her friends all died in the tornado in the first 5 minutes of her previous movie.
This is true.
That's the trauma that she's overcome.
I can't be the only one that thinks that they are like twins, especially with the blonde hair.
All right. Well, we're a little all over the place on this one, as it should be. 3 stars from me. I'll stick with it, even though I'm feeling more like a 2.5. I'm sticking with it just to
We're all
be
2.5 at heart.
We really are.
Yeah.
2.5 to Todd. 2 stars from Zach.
I will say, I will note, just in case we need to add more time to this. There were some. I saw a Thursday night College Town. All the students are back. Yay, KU. And the people behind me had definitely partaken in some things prior to frequenting the theater. And I got up and I told them to shut up. It's probably about maybe the 5th time in my life I've told people to be quiet. I actually used the word shut up, because when you tell someone to be quiet and you're not physically imposing, because I'm not, you have to just use language to convey your anger, because if they saw me in my flip-flops and gym shorts, they would just think, they would tell me to shut up. So
What they do in class?